Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to l'usine T in Saint-Denis, right next to Paris and the Paris Stadium. This is the first Best Water Talks organized by the French subsidiary as we're celebrating the Water Day today on March the 22nd. Many thanks, everyone, for being present. It is wonderful to see you, after all, face to face. I would like to thank all of you who are listening to this conversation remotely. We have people from 25 countries where BWT is operating. We have many people connected in France and abroad. So, just a few reminders on BWT. The company was created in 1990 by Andreas Weissenbacher, who is with us. He will be on stage with us in a few moments. Not yet, not yet. Stay where you are for the time being. You created the company in 1990, one of the biggest global players in water processing in 25 countries, 5,500 employees. Sales, you are part of it, 1.1 billion euros, making BWT the European water leader for different kinds of needs, for washing, for energy control, and used for other purposes, of course, human health and the environment. Your customers, some of them are with us this evening, are private individuals, professionals, plumbers, design companies, building companies, industrial companies, and so on. Everywhere you find water, you find BWT. BWT signatures change the world sip by sip. This will be the thread for this evening. We're together for a little over 1 hour to talk about, for the agenda this evening, as I just said moments ago, in a few moments we will have Andreas Weissenbacher, who is the CEO of BWT. He's going to tell us about the strategy. Then we have Sébastien Marlier, who is the Managing Director of BWT France. He's going to tell us more concretely how in France the strategy is being deployed. And we are also going to see how what the values of the companies are for all across the board. We have Le Stade Français Paris, which is one of the partners. They will tell us about the bottle-free zone or how to live without single-use bottles. And we're going to see what the CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility policy is of their organization. We will have Mr. Lombard, and we will have Lénaïg CORSON, who is responsible for CSR at the club. Last but not least, we will have Raphaël Gallais, who is the Chief Operating Officer of the BWT France. He will tell us about the importance of preserving water as a resource for the company and for its customers. And then we will move on to the second part. We will have Béatrice PAVY-MORANÇAIS, who is the Deputy Secretary General of the UAE, it's the French Union of Water Professionals, which BWT is a member of. We will talk about the AGEC law, its consequences for customers. We will have a testimonial from Cristal Union. Cristal Union, they make bioethanol and sugar. We will have another testimonial with Benoit. But first of all, a quick word from Emmanuelle, who is Business Development Manager at BWT France. She will tell us how to reduce the use of chemicals in water and water processing. That will be after Benoit. Benoit is Production Director. Last but not least, we will see that the Water Day is not only today, it's not only March 22nd, it should be every day, in everything we do, in everything you do, sometimes in a normal way, sometimes in a more spectacular way. We'll come back to this at the very end, so a very busy agenda. But without further ado, I'd like to ask Mr. Andreas Weissenbacher, the CEO of the company, to join me on stage. He's going to tell us about Water is Our Mission.
Bonjour. Bonjour, cher Andreas.
Good evening, dear Andreas. I'm going to speak French. Andreas will speak English. In Austrian, very few people only would be able to understand. I'm going to use my headset as well. Andreas, many thanks for being with us this evening for this event organized by the French subsidiary. You have a mission, a philosophy, change the world, sip by sip, in French, gorgée par gorgée. We're going to talk about the bottle-free zone, we're going to talk about corporate social responsibility, CSR, and R&D as well for future technologies. As I said, you created the company as we know it today back in 1990, that's more than 30 years ago. You operate in the global water markets, sales, as I said before, 1.1 billion, 5,500 employees. Beyond this, all these numbers, what is your vision and what are the missions for BWT going forward? Not easy for an Austrian to speak French, but I will do my very best.
Welcome to everybody here in the round. It's a pure pleasure to welcome a lot of pink, beautiful human beings here in this round, and for sure it's a great honor for me that my French equipe did such a great job, and you are on the way to color Paris pink, and from Paris many good ideas have been developed and transported around the world. So I hope also this momentum will be a unique momentum for the history on our globe. For sure, when I tried to take over, no, I did not try, I did always a definite try, and I was able in 1990 to take over the company from a division in Benkaiser, today a leading international group, especially for chemicals, perfumes, a lot of other things also in the coffee industry they are at home today. And it happened in 1990 that I was able to separate from the company. I never had this dream to be separated. I was very happy in this company, but some circumstances happened that it was necessary, and a good friend of mine said, hey, let's do it, you must do it. My father didn't talk for 1.5 years any word with me because I said, he's completely crazy, this young boy. But finally, we could do it, and we decided a good strategy, which means the vision was to become the leader in the world. So it's easy to say it, but it's hard to be executed, but we are very close to that. So I'm very thankful to all the partners, friends around the world, and I can really tell you it makes really sense to work and to cooperate with BWT. We do not only match the needs of the markets to produce everywhere in the world healthy, safety drinking water, but also we fulfill and match the wishes of the people to get on site really cool, hot, sparkling, fresh, mineralized water every day. And this is what drives us, and this is the change of the vision from becoming the leader in the world. There is still a target, but it's clear the vision of BWT to change the world sip by sip. And this we like to do from the early momentum on with our mission. The mission comes from our letter and from the change of the name of the company from Benkaiser Wassertechnik into Best Water Technology. And the B stands for the clear target to be a little bit better, just a little bit is enough, than all other market partners. We like to be more friendly, more professional. We're doing the better technologies for you. And the W stands for the task. The task is to develop and to produce, to sell and serve products for the whole water cycle, from the source to the seepage water. And the T stands for the solution of the task, where we optimize from a point of economy and ecology, the processes and the products and the technologies always at the moment at its best. This is our mission, and it has not changed up to now.
Okay, so that's interesting background information. You told us about your mission. More and more you're focused on durability, on sustainability, on the company's social responsibility. Why is that? And why have you decided to accelerate on that with a focus on that primarily?
We, as our business and your business partner, hopefully, we are developing and selling and serving you with nice products related to all kinds of water. And here we are the professional of water treatment. That you get the best economy, the highest efficiency, this you always can expect. But as a gift, as an add-on, we started very early in our history to make all our processes sustainable. So not only social responsibility, but also the sustainability is a big part of our DNA. And we love to do that, we do that, and for sure, finally, after many years of having a lot of luck, I must say, I'm very lucky to be here. Hopefully you agree with my pink cap that you will not so fast forget Andreas Weissenbacher, who likes really to change the world. And this I like to share with you. Then if you are successful and if you have a lot of luck, and you had a lot of luck, and hopefully I can expect it also in the future, then it is normal understanding of myself that we give something back to the society. And so I started to think about how the world really looks and what we really can do. And for sure it resulted finally in this word, change the world sip by sip. Maybe you ask me why.
Well, that's a very good question. Why? Why indeed? Why is that the direction? Would you say there is more and more pressure from consumers, industrial company, and who decides at the end of the day? Who is motivating you the most? Who's driving your efforts?
Pressure, I dislike very much the pressure. Maybe in the Formula One we have a lot of pressure, but also privately I have no pressure. But in the business, for sure, for the consumers, we always like to be above the wave, to not struggle under the wave. So we have to check what are the trends, what is the future, and how we can satisfy the markets in a better way than other ones can do. And for sure, as I mentioned before, to have a safety, healthy, hygienically perfect drinking water available everywhere in the world is a big issue. Especially today, I remember too, it is painful for me that today at least 800 million of people have no safe daily entry to safety, healthy drinking water. More than 2.2 million, they don't have it permanently. This is really not nice to say also that 4 billion of our globe, the world's population, and I counted it today, it was 7.935 billion at the moment, yeah, so it's growing and growing and growing, and it brings a lot of other issues. And then 4 billion don't have a safe drinking water today. It's not cool, at least for 1 month.
So, a couple of questions. Why did you go for pink? I love the cap, but why pink? I should have taken my pink tie. I forgot. And why did you also decide to invest in partnerships with sports? Formula One. Formula One does not always have a very good image in terms of sustainability and environmental friendliness. Tell us about your choices about the cap and sports.
For sure, it will be an honor to give you a gift, a pink tie. Later on, I brought one with me. Why? I said before that I try to give something back to the society. And this chart is not from me. This is just from the Club of Rome and from very intelligent people in the world. And I looked around where BWT could do a positive contribution to the globe, to the society. And then I defined and found out for sure the climate change, the drinking water, healthy drinking water. For me, it's not nice to know and to understand that the gap is growing between the poorest and the rich ones. For sure, not nice. Education is a big issue, but also the energy supply and how we stay mobile in the future. All these things I had in my mind, and then I looked around the world, what are big issues and what BWT is doing. And I can give some positive message that BWT takes care of 89.5% of the water resources on the world. We treat the seawater, we treat the groundwater, everything what is related to water. We stop to treating ice and snow and glaciers at the moment. So therefore the 89.5%. But we, and in this day it is said from related to the World Water Day, we have to take care of the invisible things and to make invisible things visible. So the people are talking about the groundwater, but BWT has taken care since decades about the invisible things in the water. So BWT researchers, they take care of arsenic in the water, which is related to the artificial fertilizer. BWT takes care of the microplastic. We have all these solutions. We are the leader in the world in pharmacy and biotechnology, water treatment. We make the purest water in the world. And this to share via consumer products with the world's population, this is a clear target and we like to do that. And then I checked also what else is a trend, not only the growing world's population. Honestly, I'm not directly responsible for that. I have one daughter, she's 14 years old. So it's not linked to me, the fast growth of that, but what else I'm participating is from products, they are coming from abroad. And the trend says that in the next 30 years we will have an increase of the transport of goods by 350%. Imagine, 350% more goods are transported in close to 30 years around the world. And then I said, maybe this is a good opportunity where BWT can influence and stop some stupid things. And it is really not cool to transport water in bottles from Fiji to New York and also from Paris to Tokyo. And with the transport, we are heating up the globe. And so I said, hoppala, the world should look a little bit different than you see here on these pictures. This is not nice, and we should take care that we hand not over a planet which is full of plastic to the next generation. So we have to work and to do something really against that. Yeah? I have absolutely nothing against my nice welcome partners from Nestle, Danone, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Co. But I know it in the same way. But we are a company which developed technologies that we can do a real change of the world via drinking water prepared according to the wishes, trained by the advertising over decades, that we have mineralized water on site in your kitchen available, hot, cold, sparkling, and mineralized with magnesium, zinc, and silicate.
So how is this all possible? Concretely, how do you do it? What is the technology?
We have the mineralization technology, and we meanwhile match all the needs on the markets, from a very easy to be used table water filter to the under the sink filter. We have water dispensers where the water is mineralized, doesn't matter from where it comes from, and it's safety and healthy. We go to the bars, to the hotels, to the restaurant owners, to the coffee houses, and finally we end in places, in municipality places, where the people come together, get also informations. And for sure in Italy we realized meanwhile more than 600 big houses in bigger and smaller villages. For sure, additionally to that, which is related to our business, we take care of the poorest of the world, and we also build fountains in Gambia. We like to do a big share. It can be more. My mom would always have done more than I do, so I have room for improvement. My staff and my colleagues, they will for sure support, like they did also in the past, that we can create and build many more fountains. And the target is in Gambia to build in the next 7, maximum 10 years, 10,000 fountains, so that most of the time that the ladies have to walk more than 150 meters to have a safety, healthy drinking water in their homes.
We have a few minutes left. On a more personal note, you said you created the company as we know it today in the early 90s. what did you learn? What are the things that changed around you, and what do you take back after 30 years as managing the company?
I learned that one of the most economic activities in advertising I ever did is investment in Formula One. And this is the absolute, the pure truth to do that. But if you ask me then, hey, what has to do the Formula One investment where you burn a lot of fuel to do with for you and Planet Blue and changing the world? Andreas, you are changing the world in the wrong direction. No, no. I am investing in the Formula One because it is very efficient. And finally, I have to inform you that since more than 27 years, we are investing heavily in the development in fuel cell membrane technologies. And for me, the electrification of the mobility, how he is doing it today, sorry for that, it's completely wrong. And you have a leading company here in the car industry which has a boss who knows that, and he is more and more on the right side with Andreas and with BWT, that the electrification and the decarbonization of the economy only can happen in a safe way if we are using hydrogen. And this I am fighting for since 27 years, and the future is hydrogen, the mobility, the e-mobility driven by hydrogen. And so I'm very happy. And this is a good learning that finally we could do a few weeks ago, a nice introduction of a pink race car again, which is not the big dream of Andreas to be, for sure it's also a dream to aller les bleus and la rosa or the le rosa, I don't know, to become a champion, because I'm not born to be number 2, so we are all born to become number 1, and with Luca De Meo and his team it is possible, so that for sure soon the Tour Eiffel will be in pink related to these nice drivers and we have around the world. So this investment is a good investment and I'm fully stand behind, and for sure if people like Ocon or Alonso, they take their helmets and go around with our brand message, change the world sip by sip, and let's do it, and they do it very pragmatically. And this is very nice. So with these testimonials, I see a good chance that the next generation, they have really people where they, whom they admire, and these people are on the right way if we together change the world. So we should make together, all together, a world out of a lot of pink spots, pink companies, pink people, and you are my dream, at least at the moment. Absolutely go around the world, spread it around the way, and let's create a sustainable world, and for you and Planet Blue should drive you. It's up to you, let's do it now. These are my big learning. I would love that people will join me on this big, important journey. And I looked a little bit in the round. I found someone I could motivate to go with me this journey. I'm very happy about it. It's a wonderful, nice French guy with a beautiful lady, so he has also a good taste. And the learning is, if the water is tasty, if it is mineralized on site, we are avoiding the transport, the CO2 emissions, then we do something positive, and let's have fun together. Let's build bridges and not make war. Let's have more love according to the pink vision. Let's color the world pink. I hope you will go this journey.
Une toute dernière question.
Okay, and are you willing to sign for another 30 years with the company then? Last question.
I don't like to disappear on this wonderful globe. I like to motivate all of you to contribute to the idea that we do not take as much as possible resources away from this planet, at least as long we do not have another planet B where we can have the similar good life like we have here today. So this is more theory, therefore please stay with Andreas in the reality and let's make the world around us more pink. Let's have fun, where we are together, let's work hard. Now is a good fitness training, and then we transport all our goods around the world and make happy people with our products, with water, our common elixir of life.
Many thanks, Andreas Weissenbacher. Thank you for your inspiring words.
Thank you very much, and we'll try to talk about this pinker world, this more sustainable world, this world in the fashion of Andreas with the implementation in the field in France. And let's welcome Sébastien to talk about it. So, Sébastien Marlier, well, good afternoon. You are the general manager of BWT France, and you try to put this world, in music. So, a few key figures: 550 employees, spread over 7 regional agencies. You address 4 markets, and we will see them with the illustration, the tertiary buildings and collective buildings, industry as well, the hotel and restaurants, as well as residential business. So you organized in a typical way with 3 services: commercial, customer services, and technical service. So we see it, we saw it very clearly, the strategy and the world vision, which is carried by Andreas Weissenbacher. How do you put that into music in France? With a good strategy, it is, we need to put it to work, we need to implement it. So we look at 2 values of the group BWT, which is expertise and performance, because it is for that our customers chose us initially. We are lucky enough because we try to control the whole value chain. We do the design, we do the development, the production, we try to sell our products, and we try to follow them by, doing the implementation and do the maintenance of our equipment. And we do that to guarantee the best quality possible for all our customers, for the best quality of water. So you bank a lot on the innovation of the solutions you offer your customers. It was always at the heart of our group. It was also for BWT France. We go through innovation by keeping in mind the preservation of water with equipment that consumes as little water as possible, but also with energy. And currently, this is really the topic at hand. We go through the digitalization of our solutions. So expertise and performance, which is very clear values, and trust and responsibility, which are also values that you try to instill in your teams. How do you do it concretely? Well, first of all, it's a commitment. It's a commitment we make, and we make it again today, with the commitment of trying to decrease every year, every week, every day our carbon impact. So we try to sensitize our employees, and with great pleasure I see tonight that many of our employees are here, and I would like to thank them, because thanks to them we are able to do that. Thanks to them, the group BWT is able to do, to perform as well. And finally, we try to work locally. So in other words, we always tried to work locally, to develop locally in France, if possible, in Europe, if it's more easy, and we try to work locally. And I know that Andreas does the same thing in Asia or the rest of the continents, to try and avoid having to spend too much energy to commercialize our products. Another word regarding some of the commitments, some of the actions that you develop, we will talk about it when we talk about the Stade Français, but also when we talk about the associations. So a few actions in the field. I'm thinking about what you do with the association Wings of the Ocean. Wings of the Ocean is a very good example. We always try to establish a trusting relationship with our employees, but also with our partners, providers, and our customers. We're always looking for a sustainable relationship relationship, because that's what is interesting, to have the partners evolve with us and we share the successes with them. And particularly to avoid pollution, to see concrete things, we associate with Wings of the Ocean, who helps us sort the waste, also through our providers for Alpha Industry, also for PMI, for CAP Africa projects. So these are trusted partners, and there are many partners which I haven't been able to mention. And we were talking about with Andreas, the CSR values, you develop them for your employees, but you also contribute to the development of these values and these purpose for your customers. That is the third stage of the rocket. Now that we have convinced all our employees, we become aware of the fact that we are becoming the CSR partner of our customers, and that's a bit of luck. We were known for being able to master the control of the water, but now we are the CSR partners for the group and for Andreas and for the employees. That's something we can feel proud about. So now we are going to talk about what is a partnership between a company, the Stade Français Paris and BWT. So I would like to welcome Thomas Lombard, and I know they're in the room, and Lénaïg, would you please join us? So please come. Dear Thomas, dear Lénaïg, you can each grab a microphone. So hello and welcome to this event, Best Water Talks, organized by BWT France. I introduce you if you don't know them. Thomas, you are the Director General of the Stade Français. You're a former international player, and you are currently the VP of the National League of Rugby, but also for a long time you were a consultant for rugby matches on RMC and Canal+. Lénaïg de CORSON, you play in the French team. The World Cup is 6 months from now. Will you be a part of this? So it will be in October and November in New Zealand. So after a delay of 1 year because of the sanitary situation. And so for the club, you are in charge of mission in the area of CSR. So we will talk about it in a few moments. Before we get into the details of the partnership that link us with BWT, can you say a few words, Thomas Lombard, of the CSR policy of the club? The club is really committed ever since you took over the function for this theme. So I've listened with great care the formidable message, which is really inspiring, which was given by the CEO, and I found many words that we use ourselves at the Stade Français. So of course we talk about education, educate the young. With this wonderful slogan, to change the world sip by sip, and it's a beautiful ambition. So we don't have the ambition of changing the world, but we have the ambition of through the young people and through the athletes who embody and who can get across some messages, because sports carry some messages, and the athlete in his daily actions can be inspiring. So we need to change them. We need to influence the change. So this is why we launched into this wonderful project of transformation of the club for good habits, which of course will have an impact on the young through a number of partnerships that we have, particularly with BWT for concrete actions. What other change? What other practices are you going to take? Shorter showers. So of course shorter showers, but also they're still efficient, but also water consumption, because the athletes take showers on a regular basis, but also drinks a lot. So we try to work on that, and that's why a partnership with WT is essential for all the water fountains. Thanks to a link we have, which is quite strong with the Good Planet, we changed their habits. They have good, habits in consuming, seasonal vegetables and fruit, and we also have responsible actions. For example, to clean up part of the Boulogne woods. And that's a good practice. And as a consequence, we took on board all kinds of people who work in the Stade Français, because there are 150 employees. And at the end of the day, people become aware of the fact that they could be useful in their daily jobs, but also with a project that goes beyond the framework of the Stade Français. That's when it becomes interesting. Well, this was a very complicated period of time. People stayed at home during the health crisis. And through this project, we got them on board, and it was really powerful. And Lénaïg was a real driving force, and it's really bearing fruit. So, well, Lénaïg, was it easy to get them on board? So we talk about good practice, good intentions. Does the goodwill follow? Did you get everybody on board in the same direction? Well, I'm not going to delude yourself. I mean, the beginnings were very difficult. People become aware of the fact when I joined the club in September of 2020, after the period we knew of the lockdown. And this COVID period, we tried to exaggerate things a bit, and we had good practices. We had each our water bottle, and during this period of time, people had their plastic bottles, so all the plastic bottles were put on the edge of the stadium, and when the players did not know what bottle they drank from, and they grab a new one. So we had all kinds of bottles which were half full. So that was the former practice. That was the case in the past. So we ended up with lots of waste, lots of plastics, and at the end of the day, when we tabulated, we had 80,100 water bottles, single-use water bottles that were used by the club, the association. So we tried to do something. So we started with 3 water fountains. That's the partnership with no, not yet. It was not yet the partnership. So we started 3 water fountains within the club, and then Thomas said we tried to get the teams on board, and the beginning was very slow, but we kept hammering the message, sip by sip, step by step. So the commercial, had a partnership, and we looked into partners that would be part of our CSR policy, and we were very happy to have this partnership, which is a win-win partnership with BWT, which is very much in line with our CSR policy to fight wasting, to find plastics, and the sorting is something that we are starting to set up. So there was the starting point with the partnership with BWT, and today we want to go even further, and I hope that today we have 15 water fountains since BWT worked with us. So in the hospitality, that's quite innovating. The hospitality is VIP spaces, in the cloakroom, in the gym and everything. And so, is it? Do you plan on that for the spectators? So once we have shown the example and we can tell the story, we have a very strong communication, which is quite impressive for a rugby club. So we tell the story, and we explain to the people that it's not really complicated. We experimented that ourselves. Our project was given an AFNOR label. So we're talking about the educational aspect. You talked about innovation. This is very strong with us. So we have this project which was validated by AFNOR. So we are in the process of educating people, for all the stakeholders of the club, people who work on a daily basis, the players, the administrative staff, but also our partners and the supporters and all the people who are involved. So we talked about the AJEC law, which has been implemented at the beginning of 2021. And do you think it's a driving force? We think that we can be proactive. So as an example, we will become the first first sports club to sort the organic waste. This is really new, and we're not going to wait for the regulations that will be implemented on the 31st of December 2023 to have the obligation in each company to sort the organic waste. Today, the athlete consume a lot of food stuff, bananas, clementines, oranges. This waste is now going into the garbage. Now we want to recycle this waste, and we will work with a new partner. This is another BWT, and that brings me to a question for Sébastien. What lessons can you draw from this partnership? Is it in line with what you expected? Does the Stade Français embody the missions that you want to have? I'm very small standing next to him. Well, it goes beyond what we hoped for. We were there at the right time, so we understood as of the first meeting that we had a common objective, be it for our company, our employees, and our customers. So it was a wonderful opportunity, a wonderful window shop, which was to install the bottle-free zone in all the residential spaces. We're all citizens of the world, and this is our vision is to change the world. So thank you very much. If you allow me, I would like to conclude. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sébastien. But we are, we owe you for partnering with us for this cause. We have a color in common, the pink, and we have an ambition, a common ambition, which is to change the world, to change the mindset. And we have an ambition, which is to try and thrive for excellence. And when we look for excellence, we have to work with the best. Thank you. Thank you. A round of applause.
Voilà, donc merci à tous les trois.
Well, thank you. Thank you all three. This is exciting. Let's now have Raphaël Gallais, who's head of operations at BWT France.
Bonjour Raphaël.
Hello, good evening, Raphaël. Athletes right before you, not easy. I know. The bar is the bar is very high. So you will be the perfect transition to part 2 and 3. We're going to talk about the importance of preserving water, and in part 3 we'll talk about the environment and humans. Let's talk about water scarcity. We haven't talked about stress water or water stress. Could you briefly tell us about the definition? Yes, it is a term, a notion that has received extensive media coverage over the past years. It's quite quantifiable. We talk about water stress when the availability is under 1,700 cubic meter per person per year. When we talk about water stress, there are several things that, several areas where water stress is most common. Africa, India, Mexico, Asia, that's where the water stress is the biggest. But recurring droughts can also be increasingly found in other regions in the world, especially in regions like France. As a matter of fact, if you pay attention, if you listen to the news, radio and TV, every summer we hear the same thing. Year after year, the authorities take special measures to regulate water consumption in the country. They ban water use for certain uses, including above the Loire Valley. So we have a map here with a lot of Mediterranean countries, north of Africa, but we have a lot of red towards the north of France and Germany and the Netherlands. So that shows that water stress is migrating north. whether it's residential users, industries, and so on, the need for water is still the same. That's right. It is our common elixir for private individuals. We need water. We need high-quality water in our homes or in office buildings. Water must be of sufficient quality to optimize the energy performance of buildings. We have been working extensively on eliminating limescale in equipments because limescale limits the energy performance. And I think you have some numbers, right? That's right. I can give you a few numbers. 1 millimeter of limescale reduces the thermal transfer by 7%. On a radiator, 5 millimeters of anything reduces the power of approximately 10%. If you take a water boiler, there are coils inside. 2 millimeters of limescale reduces the heating coefficient by approximately 15%. That has a direct impact on our bills. So that's for homes. How about industrial users? Well, for industries, it's exactly the same thing. We want to help industries reduce their CO2 footprint by reducing their energy consumption, their water consumption, and the consumption of chemicals. I can give you the example of an industrial company which is based in the east of the country. It's a brewer, and they use osmosis, and by using osmosis, they have saved approximately 500 megawatt-hours per year. That's about 10 tons of CO2 that are not emitted, and they've saved about 60% on water. Okay, so for private individuals as well as corporate organizations, solutions exist. Having solutions is one thing, but being there to hold your customer's hand is another one. It's absolutely fundamental for us. We consider that our job is more than just offering water or selling water. We need to explain and educate customers and get them to make the best decisions possible. And that's the job of our employees who are out there every day. We have many of them present with us today here. They are out there day after day to support and follow up with customers. What we want is to have a full range of services from A to Z. It's a true it's a full 360 approach with technical assistance and so on. So you talked about solutions. Could we come back one moment to water stress? Concretely, what solutions exist to deal with water stress? Well, we have always tried to develop solutions that are sustainable. Our number one mission is to create value for our customers in different areas. The first one by reducing their water consumption, by reducing their energy consumption, by simply giving the very best performance possible. We also believe in reusing and recycling, sometimes without processing the water again. You could use rinsing water to wash, for example. And the last is to use used water, which we process to generate savings in industrial facilities. It could be anywhere between 10 and 30%. Okay, is this something you do with customers? And if yes, do you do it with yourselves? Have you been able to reduce your own footprint? Absolutely. We've always tried to be role models, and we try to apply to ourselves what we're also recommending to our customers. For example, we have molds that are made with plastic, and we reuse the leftover plastic that we use to make water softeners. So we constantly apply this to ourselves. Well, in a few moments, we will have Michel MANGION, who will give us a concrete example of what you did with one of your industrial customers. Let me give you the floor. In conclusion, what would you like to share with us? Well, I think the key message for today is corporate social responsibility, and I'd like to give a few examples to illustrate what this means. We have the bottle-free zone. The bottle-free zone is about eradicating plastic bottles within organizations such as Le Stade Français. That's just one example. We have another investment into green chemistry. And the last example I can give you is the implementation of mechanical solutions to offer our customers solutions that contain no chemicals whatsoever. Interesting. That, again, is a subject we will come back to today later when we talk about reducing chemicals. Thank you so much, Raphaël, for your interesting comments. And without further ado, let's go to part 2, preserving water. We're going to go into that subject in greater detail. We have Béatrice with us. Béatrice, please join me on stage.
Bonsoir Béatrice, n'importe lequel.
And good evening. I think both mics work. So this is part 2. You're responsible for the public affairs at BWT Avocat, a law firm, and you're also the deputy delegate for the UAE, which is the professional federation which BWT is a member of. Give us some background information about UAE. When were you created and who are UAE members? UAE was created back in 1969. Its chairman is here this evening, Patrick Schall. And UAE is comprised of all professionals in different sectors, residential, individual homes, collective buildings. UAE is a water expert with one focus, which is the respect of customers. We have an ethical charter at the service of customers. So we just talked about the inject law and its consequences on people, on residential customers as well as industrial customers. What is the impact of this new law on industrial customers? Well, the GEC law is anti-waste and in favor of the circular economy. That's what the law is about. It promotes societal change. With this new law, we have new objectives in the field of design, eco-design, and construction, and we do increased information and awareness raising with water users and customers. Okay, so you have an impact, it has an impact on companies from design all the way to the shelf, but there are also obligations for the general public, if I'm not mistaken. That's right. The purpose is to preserve the environment. There are more and more environmental and sanitary constraints. And the purpose of this law is to get people to change their behaviors, both in the corporate world and in our everyday lives. So you represent different members, different organizations. I guess the impact on them is not always the same across the board, is it? Well, it depends. Once again, the objective for us is to limit the usage of plastic. This is why we promote water fountains and other products in order to reduce plastic bottles. The question I asked Lénaïg earlier was about the willingness. How willing are the different stakeholders, private and corporate? Are there hurdles? Is there reluctance? And how do you lift those hurdles? Well, first of all, we're talking about a law. But when you look at the facts, some companies are obviously trendsetters. They are leading the way, they're paving the way, and they did so even before this law became effective. In the meantime, a lot of consumers are asking for more environmentally friendly products. So the two really go side by side, hand in hand, and the objective of this law is quite clear, but some started way before with eco-design, with product design, designing products in a way that makes them reusable, recyclable. There is the question of packaging. In the past, most packagings were discarded, just thrown away. Today, they are sorted, recycled. So the philosophy has completely changed. We have to imagine what will happen to products throughout their entire life cycle, from design to the consumer. And we have to understand that consumers can make a difference. Now, we talked about the AGEC law, which is a French law. What is happening at a European level? Well, I think European law is obviously what applies in member states, and that is why we have so many partnerships with UAE within Europe, because what we want at the end of the day is everyone to walk into the same direction with more recycling everywhere. And I think all these organizations want to show greater respect for the planet and want consumers to behave more responsibly. Okay, Beatrice, thank you so much. Let's continue this conversation with another testimonial. We're going to have Michel MANGION, who is with Cristal Union. Michel.
Voilà. Ça va marcher. Bonsoir, Michel.
So, good evening, Michel MANGION. Thank you for being with us. You are the CSR director of Cristal Union. You carry out some actions. What can you say about Cristal Union? You are a cooperative group. What do you do? We are, first of all, a cooperative group which is administered by farmers who farm the beets that we use. So the added value of the beets is that we use the beets and he gets part of it back. Well, we are an industrial group which aims at maximizing the value of the work. We extract the sugar which is found naturally in the beets, so either to crystallize it and make crystal sugar. So we have the brands Adi, which is also pink, and it's the color of the day, Stein in Germany, and another one in Italy. So we also ferment it and distill it to make alcohol and bioethanol, which is biofuel, which is also an alternative for the fossil fuels. So that's a big trend since the increase of the regular fuels. So how do you reduce the water consumption? We talked a lot about it. What is your commitment to CSR, which is fundamental at the Cristal Union? So the whole group is certified ISO 14001 and 14001 for the protection of the environment, ISO 50001 to continuously improve our energy consumption year after year. So it's been more than a decade that we worked on the reduction of the needs in terms of energy, because we need energy to extract the sugar. And for example, even in the last 10 years, we have reduced by 10% our need for energy to produce the same kilo of sugar. So we are posting an ambition to be the leaders in decarbonation in our sector of activity. So now that we have saved energy, we will continue as much as possible to save energy. energy. We will now substitute the fossil energy with renewable energies. That's what about the societal part of the CSR? We are committed to our employees to improve work conditions. We make a strong commitment to promote safety and the security of our employees and anybody who takes step in our sites. So we want to have zero accident, and we also have an excellent operational policy which would point out the dysfunctioning. So once we have identified the dysfunctioning, we invite the employees, the closest to the dysfunctioning, to work together in a collaborative way to resolve these difficulties. And for us, it's the most relevant way to increase the performance, to also remove the, what bothers our employees. And it's the same collaborative approach that you implement with the farmers who provide you with the beets. We also committed to the members who are the farmers who farm the beets. So we help them in the best practices to farm the beets, and more generally to decarbonate our farms. So we have a crystal vision, which is a way to measure the progress made by the 9,000 members of the cooperative. So we now come to your collaboration with BWT, which go back to 2009, so almost 15 years, to really understand how your industrial process makes it possible to reduce the water consumption. Let's look at this video, which explains exactly what you do.
Je m'appelle Michel MANGION, je suis le directeur RSE du groupe Cristal Union.
Je suis Yannick Desétangs, je suis le responsable de la chaufferie de la sucrerie de Badencourt.
Cristal Union, c'est une coopérative qui appartient à ses 9000 adhérents, et nous récoltons les 13 millions de tonnes de betteraves de nos adhérents pour en extraire le sucre et produire du sucre en poudre ou le transformer en alcool traditionnel ou biocarburant, bioéthanol. La caractéristique de la betterave, c'est qu'elle contient déjà beaucoup d'eau. Et très rapidement, il y a à peu près une dizaine d'années, on a décidé de lancer une démarche pour arrêter de consommer l'eau dans le milieu naturel et utiliser cette eau contenue dans les betteraves.
On utilise l'eau sur toutes les phases de processus de la sucrerie.
Au fil du procédé, certes, on a besoin d'eau au début pour laver la betterave et extraire le sucre, mais ensuite on va retirer cette eau pour cristalliser le sucre. Et ça va produire énormément d'eau. De fait, une sucrerie, la première production d'une sucrerie, c'est sa production d'eau.
Pour évaporer cette eau qui est contenue dans le sirop, on a besoin de réchauffer cette eau et on utilise de la vapeur. L'intérêt, c'est vraiment qu'on ait une eau pure au maximum afin de pouvoir générer une vapeur à haute pression et très haute température.
Là, on a besoin d'une eau quasiment de qualité de distillée. On parle d'eau distillée. Et c'est là où on investit dans des installations de type de celles que BWT propose.
BWT nous accompagne afin de réduire notre consommation d'eau sur l'environnement. Nous collaborons avec BWT depuis 2009. La première phase fut l'installation de 2 lignes d'osmoseur inverse et d'un concentrateur afin de récupérer 50% des retentats des deux producteurs. On a réussi à retraiter cette eau-là et à en réutiliser la moitié. Ensuite, nous avons souhaité reprendre plus d'eau de bassin afin de la rendre apte à notre processus. Du coup, on a installé en 2014 un skid de filtration et on a passé sur 2 lignes d'ultrafiltration à 1 micron en amont des 2 lignes d'osmose inverse qui nous permettent à ce jour de retraiter l'eau des bassins pendant toute la phase d'intercampagne et de la rendre propre, utilisable sur notre processus de vapeur. Nous avons réussi à retraiter environ 400 000 m3 par an d'eau de betterave stockée dans nos bassins et réutilisée dans notre processus sucrier ou avec nos collaborateurs en distillation. Les points forts de la collaboration avec BWT, c'est une sérénité, une réactivité. On sait qu'ils interviennent à chaque appel. Ils nous aident à la maintenance. Ils réalisent un suivi de la qualité d'eau en sortie comme en amont.
Entre 2010 et 2020, nous avons réussi à réduire notre prélèvement d'eau dans le milieu naturel de 57%. Et cette eau, on va ensuite chercher à la recycler le plus de fois possible dans nos procédés. On va même regarder autour de nos usines s'il n'y a pas d'autres usages possibles pour être recyclés. Et à la fin, il en restera encore qu'on va épandre sur les champs de nos agriculteurs ce qui permet à nos agriculteurs de lutter efficacement contre le déficit hydrique qui risque d'augmenter avec le temps. Aujourd'hui, notre ambition principale tourne autour de la limitation de l'augmentation de la température de la planète à moins de 2 degrés. Et on se réfère à la plateforme SBTI. Pour atteindre cet objectif, ça nous oblige bien sûr à travailler sur nos consommations d'énergie, mais aussi sur nos émissions de gaz à effet de serre. Et la consommation d'eau vient en bonus par rapport à cet engagement. On s'est engagé à réduire encore de 20% notre consommation d'eau dans le milieu naturel.
Well, so commitments, Michel MANGION, would you stick to them? And which one were you trying to implement in the next few years? What are the next steps? So today, as you can see, we were able to reduce in an important proportion our water consumption. We want to take one step further. We have announced a decision to invest 100 million euros at the scale of our group to add water treatment, residual water treatment, because we have so much water that some remain at the end of the process. So we want to process this water in a complementary way to try to store it longer and use it when there's a need, for the farmers' fields in the summer when there's water deficit. And it's a way to increase our resilience, the resilience of our members, the farmers. So you have an investment of 100 million. Well, we call upon the help of the resilience plan that has been announced by the government. So thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup.
So now we are going to have the third part of this conference to protect the environment and human beings. Let's talk about it with Emmanuelle Le Guern. Well, good evening, Emmanuelle. You are in charge of the commercial development for BWT France. So we talked about it already, the importance of reducing the use of chemical products. But these chemical products, you can tell us how you reduce them, but they are useful. Well, today, unfortunately, we cannot replace it all. We cannot replace all the chemical products because they're useful for the sanitary, purposes, to optimize the yield of some installations. So we need chemical products. But the chemical products can have a deleterious effect on the environment and by, consequently on the environment and including the population that works within the sites. There are two things. There's the use of the chemical product as we've seen it previously with the handling of the chemical products. So there is the security aspect, but also in terms of the the sub-products that are put in the environment. We talked about regulations a lot in this conference. Is it the case that you are reducing the use of chemical products, but you have to obey the constraints of the regulations, both French and European? So as manufacturers of chemical products, we have some constraints, but industrialists have it as far as the rejections of chemical products and the use of this product. So what kind of regulations? So there's the biocid regulations and there's the local regulations which limit the quantity that you can put in the environment. That's the industrial part. That's the one you know best because that's the one you deal with. But you deal with 4 sectors of so the others are also concerned. Well, the objective is to optimize the chemical product that we use. We used to use the right quantity to maintain the yield, the energy yield, for example, in the buildings, and optimize everything that is water leaks to avoid having too many products to offset. This is what you call alternatives. Well, that's a part of it. We also work in the BWT on alternatives. For example, he talked about green chemistry, so we invest in the research for looking for innovation to have a lesser impact on the environment but we already have solutions that exist that limit the impact that the users will have by limiting the quantity of the chemical products and on the environment as well. So a few examples. We have in the room some customers. Mr. DEWAELE will talk to you about the technologies we use, that do away with part of the chemical products that we use. So we have other technologies. We do away with the products, and we also have alternatives, which are filtration. You talk about doing away with chemical products. Are we talking about the complete elimination, or is it in the long term the reduction? So what is the objective in the 10 or 15 years? So we will reduce to start with, because to do away completely with chemical products, that is a utopia. The idea would be to reduce, to optimize, and to have a lesser impact. This is what we hope for. So we will hear now testimonials. And as we said, we will hear from an example from industrialists with Benoit, who is the director of the Sical paper factory. Little jingle to have a transition. So thank you very much for being one of the guests of this conference. So with you, we're going to the Hauts-de-France in the Pas-de-Calais. You are the general manager of the Sical paper factory. What do you do? So as we said, we are part of the Rossmann group. So we're independent producer, European and in cardboard. So the paper is not our core business. We are involved in making cardboard. So we are based in Saint-Omer. So we are along the valley of the Rhin, which the people who do crosswords love. It's a short word, AA. So we are using a lot of water, because these companies consume a lot of water, steam, electricity, so we use a lot of energy. And you yourself make paper to be used to make cardboard. So we used recycled paper that we buy from people who recycle paper. So we will make cardboard, and then from that we do packaging. And so you have a lot of water that is used for this activity. So what do you do when you have such huge needs for water? Do you deal with it differently? What is your industrial process? So the industrial process started with reducing our water consumption. We increase the production, so of course we have more waste, organic waste, so in terms of the the river, and so this had an impact because we made the implementation in the sanitation plant, so that was in 2017. In 2018 it was terminated in 2020, so we met the first regulation, which was to stick to the European regulation. So we were able to control the rejects, the waste, and to work on the water consumption. Why? Because a few years ago, if we take the case of our paper factory, for a ton of paper, we would consume 16 cubic meters. Now we are at 5 cubic meters for 1 ton of paper. If you take the case of other paper factory, they're all in closed circuit. They recycle their own water. We are thinking about it, but we're not ready in terms of the process. Did you quantify the reduction of the volume of water that you use in general? We did not reduce our water consumption because we increased our production. So we consume as much water, but we have more, 50% of more paper production. So with the same level of water, that is slightly less than our water consumption in the past. When we prepare for this interview, you talked about the fact that you reduce your water consumption, but you also reduce the use of energy. So we have an ISO 14001. We make styrofoam also. So in the paper, branch, we reduce the energy consumption. We have new technologies for engines, little things. We changed the equipment, so we realized that it improved our demand in energy. In terms of the steam, we work in a drying system, so we have huge cylinders for drying, so that consumes a lot of energy. There again, we have a new, more performant equipment. We changed the heat process to have something which is more efficient. So you reduce water, you reduce energy, and as we mentioned with Emmanuelle Guern, you use fewer chemical products. Yes, we wanted to because the water sanitation station has proven efficient. We discussed with BWT, and we decided to set up a new technology to do away with the organic biocide. Because why? In the paper making process, any bacteria, we dirty our equipment. With the bacteria, it will dirty our equipment, and it will break, it will interrupt the production. So we have a new provider, and so you need to know that in the same pipes, you need to kill the bacteria, and the same pipes, you have a sanitation plant which is using bacteria. So on the one hand, you deal with them, and on the other hand, you don't have a single biocide. So with BWT, we are working on that because it's not that simple, and especially because the decision was to work with a system which has to do away with the elimination of the biocide. We have electricity, we have water, so we thought, well, it'd be possible to get out of the tense market of the chemical products, and we have a way to limit the impact on the environment, because now we use salt, and we avoid all the EBC. So we have 140 tons of consumption of EBC, and we move on to the 40 tons of big bags of salt. So we are limiting our impact, and the big bags is salt. So in terms of our employees, they don't need to manipulate these big bags. They don't need to. They don't need to retain the salt. They don't need to put this in place. And what's really nice is the security aspect. So this is the final word. So the virtuous policy that you have set up by the water making factory Sical, the paper making factory Sical.
Okay, we're coming to the end. For the conclusion, I'm going to ask Sébastien Marlier, Thomas Lombard, and Andreas Weissenbacher to join us on stage one more time.
Messieurs, merci de nous.
Okay, gentlemen, welcome back again. We have talked about the World Day of Water Day, and it should be 22nd of March every day. We talked about BWT's daily commitments. With you, Sébastien, we talked about Wings of the Ocean to depollute seashores in collaboration with BWT. Before we talk about it, here's an important message from Julien Vosnitsa, the head of the organization. Very short.
Bienvenue aux Journées mondiales de l'eau. J'espère que tout se passe bien. C'est Julien Vosnitsa, je suis le directeur de l'association Wings of the Ocean qui fait de la dépollution océanique. Alors du coup, nous, l'eau, c'est quelque chose qui nous tient forcément extrêmement à cœur, tout autant qu'à BWT, puisque avec nos équipes, on organise principalement des dépollutions sur les littoraux de manière à préserver l'eau de notre planète. Avec BWT, ça fait quelques années qu'on travaille ensemble désormais. Là, on va se lancer sur une deuxième année de collaboration. On en est très contents. Voilà, l'idée, c'est que ensemble, on s'est mis d'accord sur le fait que forcément chaque geste compte et qu'ensemble, on pourrait peut-être changer le monde gorgée par gorgée. Voilà. Et à ce sujet, on vous invite à la prochaine dépollution qu'on va organiser avec le Stade français et BWT très prochainement. À bientôt.
Voilà, donc on applaudit ce témoignage.
Okay, let's give him a very warm round of applause indeed. So, Thomas, you announced this depollution with this organization. When is it exactly? It's on May the 19th. It is now official. And what is going to happen? Where will it be and what happens? Well, that is something that we are going to decide together. What I can tell you is that we are going to mobilize everyone, the younger ones, of course, because they are the ones, I think, who are the most attentive to what is happening today when it comes to the planet. They will be with us. We will have boys and girls, admin people, the professionals. The entire club will be mobilized. Sébastien Marlier, another example of efforts you are engaging in. Yes, this is a new step. I think all BWT employees will be here. We will offer customers and partners to participate, and we're very happy to do this with the Stade Français. Okay, gentlemen, we talked about what we can do in our day-to-day lives, you know, with simple things, sometimes more spectacular initiatives. We have evidence that BWT is doing a lot more. Take a look at this short video.
This is World Water Day 2022. Groundwater. Make the invisible visible. Because almost all liquid fresh water worldwide is groundwater. It's important to protect our resources every day, not only at World Water Day.
Change the world, sea by sea. Let's change the world, sea by sea.
Single-use plastic waste not only pollutes the ocean, but also precious groundwater. On this year's World Water Day, BWT is setting a visible sign against single-use plastic waste with an international campaign. World Water Day, be the change. Because for BWT, every day is World Water Day.
Let's change the world, sea by sea. Be the change day by day.
About 500 BWT employees in 13 countries collected nearly 400 bags of waste in order to raise awareness for the massive impact that carelessly discarded trash has on our groundwater. A big thank you to all our supporters who make our sign against unnecessary plastic waste visible. You all have made our Be the Change movement so successful. And don't forget, together we change the world, sip by sip.
On peut applaudir ce film.
And once again, let's give them a warm round of applause.
Andreas
Weissenbacher, as we went from, we have this new slogan, be part of the change, be the change. Is that the message for the end of this event? Is this the message to all the employees, to your customers as well who are here with us or listening? Would you say that that's the final message, be the change?
It's really the message. I hope we could motivate you, we could awake you, we could sensibilize all of you that here we really have to do something. It's a must be done, and not just other ones should do that. And this is just a little role model what our staff have shown, and we presented it to you. This is the beginning that the younger generation is really worth to have a better life on this planet, because thanks is a lot of positive things to the industrialization in the past 100 years, but we destroyed a lot, and we recognized it, and it's never too late. Everybody gets a second chance, but it is really 1 second after 12. So let's do it now, let's change. It's good if everybody is the change by itself, and everybody can do it in his home, in his family, in the sports club, everywhere. And if you go out and have fun and color the world pink and be the change, you will make a lot of positive experiences. Let's do it for the next generation. Thank you all. Stay healthy and have a lot of fun coloring the world pink.
Je vais vous applaudir. Et le mot de la fin peut-être.
And the final word with you, Sébastien. This was the first event of Best Water Talks. Give us your final impressions and your final message to those of you who are in the room here with us and who are listening to us remotely. Well, I think, as Andreas said, this is about sharing. First and foremost, I would like to thank Andreas for giving us an opportunity to do all this. Today, France is the flagship, is the model, and we are here to disseminate this very positive message thanks to him. I'd like to thank him for that. I'd like to thank all our partners, our suppliers, and I would like to thank the organizers. We have quite a few here. I've been working with some of them for years and years. I've always been able to count on them, and that's what BWT is also about. It's about loyalty, it's about togetherness, it is about sharing, so many thanks for all that.
Un mot d'abord. Un mot, je crois qu'il y a des gourdes qui vont être offertes.
Quick word about the bottle. Yes, I think you can't, there's no way you can leave this event without bringing one back home to tell the story, share the story with your loved ones and your colleagues. Thank you. And the final, very final word, Thomas Lombard, a quick word about your vision for this evening. Is it in line with your engagements and your commitments? It absolutely is. I would also like to thank the Stade Français for giving us the opportunity to be part of this evening. It is a real honor and privilege. So is the partnership we have with BWT. And rugby is teamwork. When you perform, it generally is the result of hard work accomplished by different folks with different backgrounds, different strengths, but with one single objective in mind. And I think that is it is exactly the same thing when we talk about BWT and everything BWT is fighting for. So let's unite, let's hold hands, and let's consider that we all need to make this change happen for a better world. I think we can do it, and rugby can also be part of this. I believe in the strength of being united. Okay, well, we certainly enjoyed the match on Saturday, sorry. Thank you, Thomas Lombard.
En fait, Le tout dernier mot de la fin, c'est pour vous.
And the final word will be with you. Will there be a second edition in 2023, Andreas? And if yes, where?
Full speed
Allez les
ahead.
bleus et allez les roses. Voilà.
Merci à vous trois. Merci à vous
Thank
trois.
you, Mr. President.
Merci à vous. Merci à toutes et à tous d'avoir assisté donc à cette.
Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Thank you for those of you who are listening to us remotely. It is very warm in here. We'll see you soon for cocktails. Bye-bye.